When Alan Leman came to the University of Minnesota in the early 1970s, it didn't take long for his colleagues to realize they had a true visionary on their hands. In the large animal department of the College of Veterinary Medicine, Leman focused his energy on swine, and he was in the right place to do it. Minnesota is soon to be the #2 swine-producing state in the country. Soon, this bright young vet was bringing people together to think in new ways and introducing ideas that are standard practice today. Perhaps Leman's biggest gift was his ability to see the big picture.
I wanted to be a Leman one day in my country of South Korea. I think he was born to be a good leader. He always encouraged to the student to think new things, be creative. That is why I concentrate more on clinical and applied science.
It's hard to imagine there was a time when swine medicine and swine production were entities that didn't often intersect. But Leman recognized that if the two worked together, they could elevate the entire industry. From this vision grew the first swine conference in a small lecture hall in St. Paul, where swine vets in Minnesota and eventually the country could share ideas. Soon, the conference expanded, and for the first time, swine producers, researchers, and swine professionals gathered in the same room to discuss the challenges of their industry. After Al's death in 1992, the conference was named the Alan D. Leman Swine Conference in his honor. What started out in a tiny lecture hall now takes place in one of the city's largest gathering spaces. Today, the conference attracts more than 900 attendees from all over the United States and the world, representing every aspect of swine production. And in 2012, for the first time, the event will be presented overseas, with a Leman Swine Conference scheduled in China. Part of Al's big picture thinking was to compare different swine production systems and study trends. He wanted to answer the question, how do you keep and use records to increase performance on farms? Leman even visited Minnesota's successful turkey operations to gather insights. The result of this work was the first established record system of swine production, a system that is now computerized and used to this day. Leman's gift for bringing information together is also evident in the textbook, Diseases of Swine, a comprehensive work that's still considered the industry Bible for swine health and medicine.
He took care of not only the scientific and the personal life for the graduate student and the younger faculty. He was a very good father in his family. I know their children well. That is why everybody respects his professional life as well as his personal life.
Few would argue that Al Leman helped put the university's College of Veterinary Medicine on the map, attracting students from around the globe to study under his leadership. He trained literally hundreds of professionals, many of whom are leaders in swine medicine today. In fact, it is the endowed chair named in his honor that is the most prestigious chair at the college today. The Leman Science and Practice Award, given yearly to honor the swine practitioner who has made significant scientific contributions to the industry, and the Alan D. Leman Award is the highest honor given to swine-interested students in veterinary medicine. Who could imagine a swine industry today without the sharing of ideas at the Leman Conference? The fact that Leman's accomplishments are so commonplace today is a testament to how well they have served the swine community, not just in Minnesota, but throughout the United States and abroad. We are proud to continue this tradition of Dr. Leman's vision and leadership, keeping the University of Minnesota at the forefront of veterinary medicine education.
We're in our 38th year. Alan Leman started the conference with Jim Hansen in the late 70s, and really when he died unexpectedly 20 years ago, this conference really revolved around him, his leadership within the industry, and his vision for education. And so we decided at that point that we should name this conference in his memory. And we did that then. So since then it's been the Leman Swine Conference, the University of Minnesota Leman Swine Conference. And that really is one way by which we can memorialize him and the contributions that he's had to the industry.
A special thing that Al taught me was that every person on every farm was equally important to him. It did not matter their status or rank, and he impressed that on me not because he told me that, because he showed me that. And I saw the tremendous respect that all the people, no matter where you go yet to this day, will tell you that I remember Al, and from back, and it was because he did treat them very specially.
And the one thing that I really admired about Al, he was never afraid to bring in other people, whether they be veterinarians from throughout the United States or even from other countries, and either it would call him right in the moment. If we had a problem that he didn't know the answer to, he would say, well, let's call up Dr. So-and-so in Germany and see if he might know something that can help us with this. So he never let his ego get in front of him as far as that was concerned. He was very willing to listen to anybody and everybody that might help resolve any kind of problem we might have.
Well, I remember spending some time with Dr. Leman in North Carolina at a conference, and I remember distinctly him telling us all that swine veterinarians had to have calculators on us at all times. And so a lot of us got little calculator watches as a result of that. And he said swine veterinarians had to be very numerate. And then he also challenged all of us swine veterinarians to learn Japanese, which was very daunting. Right after I graduated from vet school, that I'd have to go now learn a whole new language if I wanted to be a swine veterinarian. But this was because we were increasing our export markets to Asia, and at that time it was in its infancy. And as you know now, we export over 20% of our pork. And so he was a visionary in that area.
Al was unique and perhaps a leader in that he integrated disease with production. And he said you can't really separate the two. And disease impacts production. Production is important from a health regard, and so we really try to integrate all aspects of production with disease management. And then a more recent area of interest is the public issues, and those being, for example, housing, antibiotic use, all the ways by which we work with people and with pigs. And so that's another area that we encompass in the program.
My plans in the future as far as the Leman Conference goes, I mean, I haven't missed one since 1996, so I have made it every year, and my plan is to continue to do that. But I think why I would continue to do that is the group that puts it together continues to provide things that I want to learn about, and as long as it doesn't get stale in that area, as long as it continues to be the way it has been, which is forward thinking and nice and good science along with some other areas that impact up, I'll continue to come for as long as they offer it. So.
Whenever you bring great people in a great industry together in one great facility, and you give them the chance for peers to collaborate and visit in this hallway, that's powerful when you bring great minds into one place. And that's what Leman's always done. You bring the best and brightest of the world into one location, and you give us an opportunity to interact.
And so this conference really, what we try to do and this is what Al's major contribution perhaps was to the industry, is we focus on science and the science-driven solutions, our mantra to this program, to try and integrate what's the most recent research, even if it's not necessarily correct, it turns out to be correct, but what's the leading thought scientists around the world, thought leaders, thinking about production, research with regards to animal disease, animal health, and performance.